Manchester United have had an excellent summer transfer window so far, haven't they? We've got Paul Pogba, Mkhitaryan, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Eric Bay, not Bailey. Everyone's going to be happy about that. Eric Bay. I'm getting his name right, getting it right finally. And Jose Mourinho has obviously come in too. So an excellent window so far. A couple of departures or quite a few players leaving on loan. And my point today is to run through all the possible things that could happen on deadline day, which is obviously tomorrow. Now, Jose Mourinho said there's going to be no activity in terms of he's happy with his 23 players. Not going to make any more signings, but there are some players who still have question marks over them, and I'm just going to run through everything and whether I feel it will happen or won't happen. Now, starting off with Phil Jones. He's disappeared into the... I don't know where he's disappeared to, but that's Phil Jones for you. I don't think he's going to leave. I think if he was going to leave, it would have happened by now, but what is happening with Phil Jones? It was last season where Chris Smalling really kicked on as a player, and look at him now, he's our first choice centre-back. Maybe second choice after the start that Eric Bailly has made, but Jones is just a man with potential, but that's as far as it goes. Maybe a bit like Jack Wilshere at Arsenal. The fans of the team know what he can do, but you just don't get a chance to see it because injuries continuously hamper him. I don't know whether he's injured at the moment, but he's definitely not getting a look in. While I think Stoke are interested, Mark Hughes has already made that very clear. I'm not sure that we've got the depth in the squad now to let him go. Now, another centre-back who has been linked heavily with a move away is Marcos Rojo. Now, his agent has actually come out and said that Man United have received multiple offers for Rojo, but have rejected him because Mourinho wants him to stay at the club. And Valencia look to be interested in a season-long loan move for Rojo because Mustafi is moving to Arsenal, their centre-back. So they've got a gap they need to fill. As far as I'm concerned, I don't know why in the world United would reject multiple offers for Rojo. He is not good enough for the club. I would much rather have seen Borthwick Jackson play at left back, or I'd much rather see Wanzebe or Fosu Mensah play at centre back than Marcos Rojo. He's a liability, and I don't want him in the team. You know, maybe I'm being very harsh on him, but this is the feeling he gives me. Just like Sergio Romero in goal, gives you just at the back of your mind, you're just a bit worried that he's going to fuck up at some point. I get that with Rojo, and that's not what you want in a defender. You want to feel confident in him, just like you are with Eric Bailly or Smalling or Daley Blind, who has been excellent so far. But again, maybe the reason that he won't leave is due to a lack of squad depth, because we've got Bailly, we've got Smalling, we've got Blind. There are three centre-back choices, really. And then we've got Rojo and we've got Jones. Obviously, you've got Wanzebe, you've got Fosu Mensah. Michael Carrick at a real unfortunate stretch. But as you can see, there's not much depth in that centre-back position. So I think if Rojo and Jones both stay, that's pretty much the only reason. Now, Juan Mata, at the start of the summer, I thought it was inevitable that he was going to leave the club. Obviously, Mourinho sold him at Chelsea when he was double player of the year. So I thought there's no chance that Mata's surviving this summer. Lo and behold, Mata has started more often than not. He's looking like a decent player under Mourinho, and Mourinho says he likes him. So, for all intents and purposes, I was completely and utterly wrong, which I'm sure you'll all be delighted for, because we all are. Mata is a good guy. Very nice person, very decent footballer. He's a bit slow, which, question marks about whether he should be starting or whether Mkhitaryan should be in that team. But it looks like Mata is here to stay, at least for this season. And I hope he can go on to have another cracking year at United. He's a very good player He just needs to be used in the right position. Because we saw the injection of pace against Hull with Rashford and Mkhitaryan made all the difference at the weekend. So Mata is the opposite sort of player of that. Maybe he's going to come on and slow a game down rather than coming on and speeding the tempo of attack up. But Mata is here to stay. I'm sure we're all delighted about that. Now, like Phil Jones, somebody else who has disappeared into anonymity is Ashley Young. He's been seen on the bench plenty, but that's pretty much it. Now, Ashley Young has been a good squad player for United for a number of years now. His best moments have come against North London teams when he scored 2 against Spurs and 2 against Arsenal. But Ashley Young, I'm not sure he has a place in this team anymore. I don't think any clubs have come in for him. I haven't really seen him linked with a move away, but he's one of the players I have question marks over in terms of his position in the squad. I think he's going to stay, but let me know what you think about Ashley Young. Is there a position for him in the squad this year? Is he going to get much game time? I'm not very sure. Even though we've got 6 games in 19 days coming up in September, I'm not even sure that Ashley Young's going to get a minute. A bit like the next person I'm going to talk about, Bastian Schweinsteiger. Now, this one's a very strange one as far as I'm concerned because there's been multiple club offers. Schweinsteiger came out himself and said, I'm not joining any other club in Europe because Man United was the only club that I would have left Bayern Munich for. So there's been plenty of interest, but Schweinsteiger doesn't want it. But sod what Schweinsteiger wants. This is what United need to do and want. And I'm very surprised that the club's going to let somebody who's on, £200,000 a week just sit in the squad, because Mourinho's made it pretty clear that he's not going to play him. And Schweinsteiger's not leaving. So I don't know what role Schweinsteiger's going to play. But something I want to pose to you, which I've been thinking about, is we've seen Fellaini in these last few games playing a very, very disciplined, very stringent role in the middle where he's not moving very much. He's just marshalling a certain part of the pitch. And that's his job. And he's doing it very well. Schweinsteiger in that role could be fantastic and have a little bit more, because he doesn't have the legs anymore, but he's got the he's got the intelligence, he's got the brains far more than Fellaini does in that sort of position, and he's a leader, and you need leaders. Pogba's fantastic, but he's not a leader yet, and I think maybe Schweinsteiger could excel in the same role that Fellaini has started to excel in. Let me know in the comments below whether you think that is possible this season. But as much as we thought Schweinsteiger was going to leave, it looks like he's staying. Now, one player who is going to leave Manchester United is our striker, Will Keane. Now, it looks like Hull have agreed a £1 million fee for him. I expect it to be completed by the end of the window tomorrow. And it's such a sad story for Will Keane. He was just about to go break into that first team squad when he got that cruciate ligament injury. Fergie said he was going to go on the pre-season tour. He was on the up, smashing goals in for our under-21s, won the FA Youth Cup. He was just scoring left, right and centre, looked like a real prodigy. But then he got the injury and he's never ever been able to recover from that injury. And when he did, he came through into James Wilson, Marcus Rashford, players that came in his absence and took the spot that he could have had. He's a fantastic finisher of the ball, but he's just not going to make it at United. And I think Hull could be a good move for him. We got Hernandez there. Obviously, we saw against Hull, they haven't really got much of an attacking threat. Maybe when they're playing deeper because they were playing United. But Mike Phelan's played with Will Keane before. I would love to see him go on and do fantastic things. So I hope he does complete his move, because he won't get any game time at United this year. And if he does, I hope he smashes it in the Premier League. Unless he's coming back to Old Trafford to play against United. Obviously he will. Can't give you everything. Now, as well as all of those players inside Manchester United who I'm talking about, whether they're going to leave on loan or whether they're going to leave permanently, there are two names that have been linked to United all summer. And as far as I'm concerned, if we do sign anybody in the next 24, 48 hours, it will be one of these two. Not that I'm saying it's going to, but this is the latest on them. Jose Fonte has been linked with Manchester United for the last few weeks. Southampton's manager has come out and said that he does not want him to leave. Fonte's come out and said he's been flattered by the Manchester United interest. And he's just flirting with the move. Not ruling it out, but not saying no. So I think if we do sign a centre-back, I think it will be him. And I believe that will be a good move, in that he's 32. He's won Euro 2016, coming to the twilight of his career. He won't have to play 9, 10 out of 10 games. He'll be happy playing 3 or 4 out of 10 games. And that's the sort of centre-back we need in that squad, because we're going to get a lot of games this season. We can't expect Bailey, Smalling and Blind to play all of them together. Having Fonte would be a perfect option. And he's Portuguese and he's 32, so he's a little bit older than the other players. Could be more of a defensive leader. And the other name mentioned is Monaco right-back Fabinho. Now, he has been linked with United for some time now. But Le Parisien journalist, as you can see here, which is a newspaper in France, he is saying that if Lassana Diarra comes into Monaco, that one of João Moutinho or Fabinho is going to leave. Both of them, I believe, their agent is Jorge Mendes. Mr. Jorge Mendes, we all know who he is. We don't need any introduction. Now, will that happen? We'll see. But Fabinho, again, has been flirting, just like Jose Fonte. Hasn't ruled it out, hasn't said no. Hasn't said yes, just sitting there, just on the fence, waiting. And I think that's what he's doing. Now, he's a 22-year-old Brazilian, highly, highly rated. But we've got Antonio Valencia, we've got Matteo Darmian and Fosu Mensah. Let me know in the comments. I think I've already asked this question, but I'll ask it one more time. Do you think we do need to sign a new right-back? If it is going to be a new right-back, it looks like it's going to be Fabinho. But Jose Mourinho has made it clear, well, this is what he's saying outwardly, that Man United are not going to have much activity this week. It's going to be a quiet transfer deadline day. But if we ever listened to Fergie and what he said, we probably would have got things wrong 9 times out of 10. So managers do sometimes keep it close to the chest. So we're just running through what could potentially happen, but ultimately it will be a quiet transfer deadline day in comparison to previous years where United have been left with the shopping trolley in the clearance aisle in the last minute before the shop closes, frantically trying to shove everything in that trolley because we've had shit summers. Jose Mourinho has done it very, very well, got our players in, got them in early. But will there be any more activity? Potentially. I think Wilkins definitely going to leave. Rojo, I'll be delighted if he left, and maybe Valencia will come in. But let me know in the comments whether you think any of these will happen. We're going to be at Ball Street all day on transfer deadline day. Make sure you check them out. Going to be a live show going on from, I think, 3 p.m. the whole way through until the end of the transfer window. We're going to leave a subscription button in below, so make sure you get involved in that. So drop a like on the video as always. Subscribe to United People's TV if you're new, and we'll see you all very, very soon. Take it easy.